kids were special.
Special kids. But James has a couple of caps on, because I've known him for many years. He was a wonderful cricketer, I can remember, and did all kinds of sport, and he was clever as well. He's one of those all-rounders. He's frowning a bit, but married with 3 children, 3 grown-up daughters, one of them with autism. But he sits on the board, and we have Vesna Stojanovic, Dr. Vesna Stojanovic, she's the chair. But she can't be here today because her baby is not very well and she's had to go to London. But I'd just like to, later, when you do talk to James, you know, a little bit about his background. And he comes in as a parent, but it's good to have someone also who is in the business world as a shipping broker. You don't mind me mentioning that, do you, Jim? No. And also cricket. You played at Lord's many times, didn't you?
Twice.
Twice. Did you score 100?
49.
49? Oh. But you know that awful game?
No, I don't know enough about cricket to be safe, so I don't even know what the scoring is.
Well, the headmaster at the oratory said it was the most civilised game of all. And I used to say, why is that, Father? He was a Benedictine monk. He said, well, we stop to have something to eat and drink. No other sport does that. You know, you stop for lunch and then you stop for tea. And he liked cricket, and my job was on the line if we didn't win. Did we win at Lord's when we were playing?
I'd have to check wisdom.
Well, I would have got the sack because Father Morey insisted that we were always winner. Anyway, the last speaker, I could go on. I would like to ask a very special person who, when I first came to Bullmarsh, Dr. Silver set up a committee, and on that committee was, I'm trying to remember his name now, Trevor Bottomley. And Trevor, God, how many years were you the registrar of the university?
Well, I was here for 25 years, but registrar for the last 10.
Yes. But he's been a, you know, if you could say emeritus, you are emeritus, aren't you?
Registrar, yeah.
And he still is a trustee of, well, he's company secretary and treasurer of Inclusive Environments. But I would like to ask Trevor just to come, before we go in to have some wine, perhaps to say a few words. But very distinguished sort of old boy of Reading University.
Thank you, Ken. Well, Ken's the chairman of the trustees. I happen to be the company secretary, so we've known each other a long, long time.
Oh, you're not the treasurer, that's right.
No, I'm not the treasurer.
We've got someone else, that's right.
Somebody else does that. No, money's not my forte, I'm afraid. Well, I'm the physical side of inclusion, talking about the environment and the way it affects everybody at some stage in their life. When you're a baby, small, when you're old, when you're infirm, mothers with pushchairs, somebody may have an accident, all sorts of circumstances may arise where you find the outside world is a bloody nuisance. It doesn't meet your needs, you can't do this, you can't do that. And Inclusive Environments is a charitable company which set up some time ago. The university has been very helpful to us because they did offer us a site for a centre which we wanted to establish. And this was the brainchild of Hans Helen, who was the adjunct professor of architecture in the university. He runs a practice in London. He came down to Reading to teach architecture in the Department of Construction Management. And he saw the International Centre for Inclusive Environments as a teaching hospital for the construction industry, where you could bring together postgraduate teaching, research, the construction industry itself, the public. So you were spreading awareness of the need to think about people with physical, sensory or learning difficulties and the way the environment interacted with them. And so we tried to, well, we were trying to set up this centre. Of course then it would cost at least £40 million to build one. The university had given us a site. We even had outline planning permission. We had designs which Hans had done. And the credit crunch arrived, and so far we've not been able to do it. So it's on hold for the moment. But I'll give you one example of the problems. I have a 52-year-old son who was born with cerebral palsy. He's spent his life in a wheelchair. He can't talk, he can't walk, he can't stand. He understands, and he's got a super memory. He's a great guy. He's got a tremendous personality. He likes the ladies, I must say. He's got a beard and a moustache, and always kisses a lady's hand, and they think that's really marvellous. Anyway, we took him up to Yorkshire to my brother's, younger brother's golden wedding, and booked a room in a hotel in Bradford for their disabled room, and the room adjacent for my wife and myself. We got there, and he wanted to go to the loo, so I took him in. There was a sliding door, took him in. I couldn't turn the wheelchair around. There wasn't enough room for me and a wheelchair and somebody with sticky out legs to get him round, to get him on the toilet. There was a bar. The only two concessions to disability was a sliding door and the bar down by the toilet. But I couldn't get him on the toilet. I couldn't get his legs under the wash basin because it had a vanity unit underneath. The shower was over a bath. How do I get him in the bath? He's 15 stone dead weight. No way could I get him in the bath. So we went to see the manager. This is your disabled room? Yes. I said, well, we can't. Oh, most of our disabled people can walk. If only. It's a very hurtful remark, actually. There is a disabled toilet on the next floor, where plenty of, you could have had a ball in there, you could have had 64 wheelchairs, it's a huge room. But this was en suite we wanted. We didn't want to take him in the middle of the night upstairs to the next floor. And there's a disabled shower down in the fitness area in the basement. Now, you see, they just had not thought it through. And architects and builders don't often think things through. They don't put themselves in a wheelchair. I've quite often felt that architects should be trained to go around a building in a wheelchair, blindfolded.
Good idea.
With cotton wool in their ears and see how they get on, because they don't really project. Anyway, so this is what we want to do, is to increase the public awareness of the problems, not just for people in wheelchairs, but for people who are deaf, who can't see, who can't understand very well. Signing, lighting, all these various aspects of the physical environment. Anyway, so we've had to put the centre on hold. We're involved in research projects, training, making awareness as much as we can. We live in hope that one day we might get a centre, but for the time being, we just hope that the building profession will learn.
Thanks very much, Trevor.